Hi, I'm Bree Morris. I'm your child's math teacher, and this is Homework Help. Okay, this is the first week of Homework Help, and this is what your child's homework looks like. This is not due till Friday. I do not want them to do the whole thing in one night. They really just need to do a couple of boxes a night, and that will be enough. I'm going to give just a couple examples to help them through the homework. Because this is spiral review for 5th grade, some of these concepts they have not learned yet. So the box A should be pretty easy for them because this is not new. It wants to know the value of the bold digit. So on this first one here, it says it says 25 hundredths, and 2 is the value that they want to know. Well, the value of that is 2 tenths. So they could write that like this or like this. Either of those are acceptable. I'm going to do one more example. That's this that says 27 thousandths. They want to know the value of this 7. That 7 is in the thousandths place, so they could write it as this or this. The next one I'm going to help on is this one, B. They have not learned this yet. We learned this second 6 weeks, but these are very simple version of what we learn. Ours get quite a bit more challenging, but this is just what parents will always tell the kids. No, it's PEMDAS. I teach GEMDAS. I have them write it at the top. And the reason I teach GEMDAS is the G keeps all of the grouping symbols in there. P is parentheses, but we're talking about all grouping symbols, braces, brackets, and parentheses. So that's really important for them to know so that when they see those brackets and those braces, they aren't confused about where they go. The one that I'm going to do for this one, I will do 2 on this one. So I'm going to start with this first one right here, this 3 times 4 in the grouping symbols minus 2. So I have them underline one step at a time. You always start with your grouping symbols, and 3 times 4 is going to be our first step, and we know that 3 times 4 is 12, so I'm going to rewrite my entire problem. 3 times 4 is 12, so now it's 12 minus 2, and 12 minus 2 is going to be 10. 10 is my final answer. And the next one that I'm going to do is this bottom one. This is a very difficult symbol to tell if it's a division symbol or an addition. It's addition, as is this first one up here. So I'm going to start here. 3 times 4, that's 12, plus another 3 times 4 is 12, is 24. Okay, so I'm not going to do an example on the multiplication here. This is 2-digit by 2-digit, and they should have learned this, or they did learn this in 4th grade. If your child is still struggling with this, if you will just send me an email or a message on Remind, then I can give a personalized example for them. But I feel like the majority of the children should be able to get that down. I am going to do this next one. It's a comparison of decimals. So these rods here, they represent 1/10. So I've written that here, 1/10. And if you count the shaded, there are 5/10 shaded. The entire square represents 1 whole, so that will be the same over here. This is 1 whole, and the entire column represents 1/10, so there are 4 tenths there, which would be written 0.4. And then these little tiny squares are hundredths, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this would be 45 hundredths. The kids and I actually just did a lesson on comparing and ordering decimals today. So the way that they need to show this is by lining up their decimal, putting in their phantom zeros, and now they should be able to insert the greater than, less than, or equal to symbol. The next one is perimeter. They should be able to do this. Perimeter is adding up all the sides. It's as if you were putting a fence around the rectangle. On number 2, this is a subtraction problem. This is something else that they should remember from 4th grade because it is just a whole number and the tens place. So as long as they line up their decimal, they should be able to do this. Let me read this again. The table shows the amount of water and vinegar in cleaning solutions A and B. How many more? That tells us to subtract. Fluid ounces of vinegar than water are in solution B. This is when they should be able to do. Number 3, they've not had to generate an equation in the past. So let's read this problem. It says Sienna is exactly 5 feet 2 inches tall. Which equation can be used to find h, the height in inches? Okay, so this is a measurement conversion mixed with a generating an equation. What you're looking for here is the 2 inches are already going to stay inches. So I can rule out the dividing because I'm not going to divide by 2 inches. I'm going to attach them to what I figure out. And then I'm not going to multiply by 2. That's going to give me way too many. I'm going to add the 2 inches onto whatever I find. So here, your child needs to determine, am I multiplying the 5 feet by 10 or the 5 feet by 12, adding the additional 2 inches to get a final answer of h, the number of inches in Sienna's height. On number 4, it says Ricky drinks 6 ounces of juice each day. What is the total number of ounces of juice he drinks in 10 weeks? This is a multiplication problem, and if your child is struggling to determine if this is division or if it's multiplication, the first thing they can look at is every answer is larger than both of the numbers that we have. The other thing that they need to notice is each day. And then they're asking for weeks. So they need to know there are 7 days in a week. So the first thing they need to do is figure out how many days are in 10 weeks. This is 1 week. How many days are in 10 weeks? Okay. And then how many ounces are in those 10 weeks after they figure out how many days total. The other way that a child can tell if the problem is multiplication versus division. Notice the word each is in the story part of the problem. It's not in the question. That generally tells us it's probably going to be a multiplication problem. We still need to use reasoning. We still need to use critical thinking, but that word indicates that we are probably going to need to be multiplying. On the last one, a farmer wanted to find out if there was a correlation, that's a good vocabulary word, between the size of a hen's cage and the number of eggs a hen laid each week. He provided a hen 4 square feet of cage the first week. So I'm going to underline this information. 8 square feet the second week, and 12 square feet the third week, and so forth. Okay, so they indicate that the square feet, you can see down here on our frequency table, that it is increasing in square footage. So look at the scatter plot shown to the right, that's here. According to the data, what is the greatest number of eggs the hen can be expected to lay? If you look here, we start to plateau. It stops to increase after a certain number of square feet. That is what it's looking for here, is what are the number of eggs, the max number that a hen is going to lay. If this is not enough help for your child on their homework and they need additional help, they need to let me know, or you can email me or send me a message on Remind, and we can go through some additional problems together to help them solve these. The other piece of homework that they have is this here. This is their vocabulary list for the week. On Thursday, they will have a vocabulary quiz. This first week are very simple words. These are all words that they should already be familiar with. Sum and difference are words that have been used with them since first grade. Product and quotient, they should know from third grade and fourth grade. Decimal, place value, and expanded notation as well. If you have any questions on any of this, please feel free to contact me. Thank you.